Now, in the last 4 years, there's been a quiet revolution sweeping Taiwan's countryside, but it's nothing political. If you remember the excitement of childhood, you'll remember what a magical experience a school trip or a visit to an amusement park can be.
But in rural areas, access to playground facilities or special events can be severely limited. That's why a retired businessman has made it his mission to tour the countryside with his collection of 40 giant bouncy castles, bringing joy wherever he goes for free. Our Sunday special report.
My name is He Mao-chang. I'm 70 years old. I worked in business for 40 years, and 6 years ago I retired and came back to Taiwan from America.
When He Mao-chang returned to his homeland, he originally thought he and his wife would spend their retirement teaching English in the Taiwanese countryside. But life had other plans. Now he tours rural schools with a quite different gift for the children.
If you go to a country school one day and a city school the next, the contrast is so extreme. One has nothing and the other has everything. They seem to be living quite different lives.
He was moved by the poverty of resources in rural schools, and so began his new life as bouncy castle grandpa.
At my church in America, they often have bouncy castles, and on Sundays they would bring them out for the children. I was quite moved by watching that, so I thought I'd bring 4 bouncy castles over here and see how it went. And then somehow I've ended up with 40 bouncy castles.
Wanting to give children the most magical experience, He hand-picked every single one of his bouncy castles. This is the star of his collection, a giant toilet, a prop from the British-American animation film Flashed Away.
I bought it specially from Disney. It was a prop for the film. They only used it for one day and then put it in storage. They said, please bring cash when you come. I had to get on a plane to go over there and buy it. It's unique.
The kids take off their shoes and fling themselves at the castle, having the time of their lives. Their expressions of delight are what He lives for in his retirement. When he saw those smiles 4 years ago at the first event he held in Ligang Township, Pingdong, it changed his life.
The head of the school said nothing like that ever happened in his 26 years of teaching. They were so bursting with joy, it was like they could bring the school down. The principal was amazed, like, it's like a revolution today. What's going on? The whole school has gone crazy. We were amazed too. How could it be so powerful?
I
think children need joy and happiness. When they see the bouncing castles arrive, that longing for joy and happiness has an outlet. And then you realize that's what they need. When we see it, then we feel like it's all worth it, however much work it is.
Xinwei Elementary in Kaohsiung's Liugui district is classed as a particularly isolated school by the Ministry of Education. 70% of the children here are being raised by their grandparents. For these kids, the chance to play on big playground equipment is like gold dust. The principal, Lin Shufang, explains that the school did everything it could to get her to pay them a visit, sitting patiently on a waiting list for 6 months.
These kinds of big inflatable toys are not uncommon in urban areas. It's very easy for kids to go to department stores or playgrounds. But in the countryside, they might only get taken to a town or a city if their grandparents can take time off from the farm. Otherwise, they will basically spend 7 days a week at home.
Since He began his touring castle venture 4 years ago, schools have been falling over themselves to invite him for a visit. He's in such demand that the heads of 100 schools in the south made a line chat group to hash out his tour schedule among themselves. But when he first began, some thought it was too good to be true.
When I had just held the first few events, I was at one school when the principal got a phone call from the principal of the next school I was planning to visit. They wanted to check that I wasn't running a scam, because they couldn't believe such a great thing could be true and that it would just be offered freely for no charge at all, just for the kids to enjoy themselves. They thought it couldn't be possible.
But making the impossible possible is Mr. and Mrs. Her's mission. One child gave them a thank you that was equally stunning.
The kid gave me 150 NT dollars with a note saying they hoped I could help more country kids. I was so touched. It said we enjoyed this visit and I hope, Grandpa, you can use this extra 150 NT dollars to help other children.
谢谢何爷爷完成我小时候的梦想。我长大以后有能力也要像何爷爷一样。
For children, play is crucial for self-discovery and building confidence. A child that is loved can learn to love themselves and those around them.